Shadow ponies? How ridiculous is that?
Oh, come on, Sombra. He didn't mean it. Spike's just a little cranky because Twilight completely disregarded his safety. Tell you what, why don't you go conquer that 7-Eleven down the street? Get back in the villainous spirit. There you go. I hope the new guy isn't so sensitive. So we return to the ruins of the Royal Sisters, only this time it's a slice of... Hey, you mind? It's a slice of life episode, my favorite kind. But what's this? More talk of continuity? Twilight looking for clues to the mysterious sprouting box? A mysterious dark figure? Are we actually looking at a season-long arc, complete with a recurring villain? Well, heck if I know, I'm not on the writing staff. What I do know is that when anyone says this show could only appeal to little girls, I will point at this episode title and laugh. I'll also sum up Castlemania with one word: hijinks. This is mostly a fun bit of nothing, with the ponies going through a conflict minus an antagonist, something hard to pull off. We start off with Twilight and Spike strolling through the pacified Everfree forest. Everfree sure has lost its teeth over the seasons. For a place filled with dangers from which no pony has ever returned, the residents of Ponyville seem to stroll in and out without problem. Might as well install a rotating door. Twilight's mission? Find out information on this mysterious box that's giving her premonitions.
But something tells me that opening it is pretty important.
So Celestia suggests that her former pupil go poking through the ruined library, which is remarkably well preserved. And within a secret chamber, Twilight discovers Celestia's secret diary. So being the mature, respectful pony she is, she immediately cracks it open and starts reading through. Come on, princess, give us the dirt.
I love to duck behind the paintings, and though the Hall of Hooves still gives her a bit of a fright, the trapdoor slide is Luna's favorite.
Celestia, you need to get out more. Maybe go hang with Pinky. Okay, maybe go hang with Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Bees, my god. No, there aren't any bees here for you. This oddity is Applejack and Rainbow Dash's newest friendly competition, and I want to stress the word friendly. Unlike Fall Weather Friends, this episode shows the two of them pushing one another without the hostility or arguing of the past. This makes Rainbow Dash way more likable than before, as she's neither boasting nor cheating.
I'd be at least 50% less scared of it than you.
Sorry, AG, I don't think that line's t-shirt material. It was fun to see them descend deeper into the ruins and go even further into flat-out hysteria. Plus, they gave us a view of full-body equestrian armor. How awesome would Celestia stormtroopers look if they wore these bad boys? Of course, the noise could be an issue.
In the end, it must be you and you alone.
Don't mind us, princess. We're just unmooring the troll. And then there's Rarity, who probably got the idea to restore the castle tapestries after revisiting the ruins last episode. Obviously, this task will require some physical labor, so I imagine she'd either recruit Big Macintosh or work her charms on a few stallion volunteers. Or she'll bring Fluttershy. Yeah, I'm sure she'll be a huge help in the labor department. And they brought... Angel Bunny! It's a testament to the show writers that I can love to hate this rodent. At series start, he seemed like a supportive but aggressive bunny. Yet by season 2, any support he showed for Fluttershy dried up and left a selfish brat in its place. Here, he at least starts out on the upshot. I can't blame him for going off and starting trouble by accident. I'm not looking for perfection. And it was fun to see the various groups tripping over each other, increasing their paranoia and leading to the group-wide breakdown. And to top it off, we get the replacement for the letter to Celestia, a group diary. I'm sure there are fans who would have been fine if they left the moral of the day out of this season. Yet as someone who enjoys the idea of giving kids a positive message and grew up with knowing is half the battle, I'm glad they found a new medium. Though I hope they'll start with something different than Dear Diary every time. I could see Rarity, Fluttershy, and possibly Twilight starting that way. But for Rainbow Dash, it'd be more like, Dear future fans who want to remember my awesomeness. And we close out with the hint of a sinister figure in the dark. A new villain, perhaps? Or just a one-shot image? Time will tell. So obviously I must love the return to the slice of life way, right? No. There are 3 things holding this episode back for me. The first is, not you. The biggest thing is an undercurrent of obsession running through this episode. It starts out innocent enough with Twilight delighting in a new trove of knowledge. Yet as night falls and Spike begins to feel insecure, Twilight dismisses his fears with very little support. I didn't comment on Spike in my previous videos, which is unfair. He is incredibly devoted to Twilight, with one notable exception, and that devotion is one of his most endearing traits. I really see him as Twilight's little brother. I would have loved it if she had just set the books aside for a moment and assured him that he was safe and that she wouldn't let anything happen to him. He's a baby dragon after all. He could use some assurance. Plus, being afraid of staying in the Everfree forest at night in a ruined and crumbling castle really isn't an unfounded fear. Far worse, however, is Rarity. While Twilight is fixated on her books, Rarity is so wrapped up in her project that she doesn't register that a friend got hurt. Rarity won me over and suited for success because she used her fashion talents, an art form I don't follow myself, to do something nice for her friends. Here, she's pursuing her art at the expense of her friends. Now, I'm not saying that this shouldn't have been a factor. These are character flaws that make the ponies dynamic, and I enjoy seeing them learn and grow from their mistakes. The problem lies in that none of these issues are ever addressed. All it would have taken was for Rarity to say, "I'm terribly sorry, dear. The castle will be here tomorrow. Let's come back with some stronger horsepower and try again." And then the episode could have followed the same plot. Angel trips the switch, the mares fall, and we advance to the next scene with no momentum lost. Yet Rarity would have come out the better for her momentary reality check. And speaking of Angel, what does he do after his best friend fell into a pit? He chillaxes with a new sugar mama. And Twilight never bothers to go searching, since finding out what Celestia had for lunch is far more fascinating. The second problem is the moral. The moral is that a good friend will offer perspective when imagination and fear threaten to go too far. I'm getting a certain deja vu sense here. Yet Rarity did nothing to relieve Fluttershy's growing panic. Applejack and Rainbow Dash actually intensified one another's fear, and Twilight was given in to her own worries as they approached the Shadow Pony. The only time Twilight did put anyone in check was the funniest scene in the episode, where she magically held them in place and they sounded off. Who was this mysterious pony of shadows? Pinkie Pie! Yeah, that plot twist was visible from space. But it's all in good fun, and it makes sense for Pinkie to sit out most of the episode. None of her friends would have been scared if she'd been around to lighten the mood. And last, but most annoying, because they won't wait their frickin' turn, are the Star Spiders. This is an element known as Chekhov's gun. No, not that Chekhov. No, he didn't get to fire a gun. I'm talking about playwright Anton Chekhov, who said that if you introduce a gun hanging on the wall in the first act of a play, it better go off in the second or third act. In other words, its presence should demonstrate foreshadowing. Fluttershy names the Star Spiders, and Spike sees several scurrying about. And yet somehow they've had more screen time in my review than they have in the actual episode. What happened to these things? What purpose did they serve? Maybe they'll come into play later. I mean, this continuity thing seems like it's going to be a constant. And yet right now, these annoying astrological arachnids are just a red herring. And given that the Everfree Forest has some pretty amazing creatures for us to enjoy, I'd hate to see these little guys amount to nothing. Though right now, I wouldn't shed any tears if a rolled up newspaper came into play. Now scram! So what did I think of Season 4's first normal episode? Whoa, hey! It's a lighthearted episode, and I want to credit the new writer. Josh Haber danced the line between quirks and flanderization nicely, yet the unaddressed character flaws and the pony's obliviousness to situations kept me from enjoying the silliness. It's frustrating because I think a few changed lines could have smoothed everything out. In the end, it's not a bad episode, yet I can't say it's one of the greats. Unfortunately, this will be the last episode I review because I'm about to frickin' die! What the? Sombra, you saved me! And you're a night shift manager now? That means you get to be a tyrannical despot and collect a paycheck. Good for you! Hey, could you get me down? I have to pee.